I believe that if we are honest with ourselves, that the most fascinating problem in the world is who am I? What do you mean? What do you feel when you say the word I? I, myself.
I wanna fly the train! I don't give a fuck! Oh, jeez. Hey, what's going on, bud?
You keep using that phone. You don't think it is what you think it is.
Oh, jeez. Hey, what's going on? I don't give a fuck! Oh, jeez. Hey, what's going on, bud? Yeah, you can't get out of it! Oh, jeez. Stop joining your friends, what's going on?
I think that I am familiar with the fact that you are going to ignore this particular problem until it swings up and bites you on the ass.
Psych, just kidding. My new catchphrase is, I don't give a fuck!
It's asking a lot to believe that the problem is going to fix itself.
Guess what, bitch?
Our technology and our numbers have both reached a state where inadvertently we can pose a danger to the global environment, especially through the atmosphere.
The whales have a 15-foot penis. Are you a pervert or something? Okay.
Now, nobody pretends we understand everything about the global climate.
I didn't cut out. You heard me. Google it yourself.
There are feedbacks, some of which you warm the Earth a little bit, and the tendency will be to further increase the temperature, so-called positive feedback.
What I'm saying is the planet's on fucking fire.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
What's up, heathens? How ya doing? So tonight, we are going to be taking a look at a Catholic apologist who is going to be presenting some mathematical proof for God. This is specifically like a mathematical proof, like we're trying to prove some kind of mathematical theorem or something like that, and that theorem is God exists. Thank you so much, Daniel M., for your donation and
Just a
for the
little
little
bit of
Brocephus, along with Uhan Roderick. Daniel M. says, David says good night. He is showing you his Egyptian stuffed black cat named Kitty that he got from the Science Center at the Mummy exhibit. Aw, that's a really nice black cat there, David. I hope you have a good night there, bud. I hope you sleep tight and you don't stay up too late, because I know how that can really mess up your day the next day. So definitely get that good sleep there, David. I hope you have a good night there, bud. And then we got Uhan that says, first dibs. Daniel beat you to it. But you did get Brocephus tonight. Just to remind everybody before we kind of get things rolling, if you want to become a Skeptic Mafia member or send a super chat or anything like that, a portion of all of that money is going to go to a charity of some kind. And what are we doing this month, hon? Right. This month, we're going to be donating a good portion of what we make here on Godless Engineer to Direct Relief. who's helping out with the whole COVID pandemic thing. It's just a way for us to really try to help other people out in this current situation. So if you want to be a part of that, if you want to help us do some good, then definitely send a super chat in or become a Skeptic Mafia member. It's very affordable, the whole Skeptic Mafia thing. So, you know, you can become a shill for just like $2 a month. So consider that, and I guess we will get to the intro right here in a second. All right. Well, the first thing that we got to do, as with all of our live streams, you know what that is, honey? Yes, we have. Today I learned. Woohoo! Soon I'll be playing the recorder. Or is that Brocephus's? The recorder? The recorder is whoever. I think Brocephus will probably be the recorder player. All right, heathens. Well, first up on Today I Learned, we have that an ancient Roman. Thank you so much, Elizabeth Richardson. It says, here's my weekly tithe, but you're not getting 10% of my income. Shucks. Luckily, we don't require that here at Godless Engineer. We're just happy you guys are watching our shit. Then we got Quentin Van Boeven, who says, just sending in my weekly tithe, needed to see Brocephus. Oh, thank you so much. You guys are so awesome. And then the Jim Tanker says, woo, beer money. Which I'm sure Brocephus is going to do here in a second. Beer money. The fourth wall, the third wall, the Brocephus wall. All right. Today I learned that an ancient Roman oracle once prophesied that Caligula had no more chance of becoming emperor than of riding a horse across the Bay of Baiae. Fuck if I know how to pronounce that. After becoming emperor, Caligula ordered ships to construct the largest pontoon bridge in history and rode his horse across the Bay of Baiae just to tell that Roman oracle to fuck off, suck my dick. You're not an oracle. Or oracle, whatever. But he definitely told that oracle to suck his dick. Am I embellishing? Whatever the Roman version of suck his dick would have been, it would have been that. Uhan Roderick says just a little bit of money. This weekend, I swear to Christ, I'm doing new Brocephus alerts. I'm gonna figure out some new ones to do. So I'm doing those. Well, yeah, beer, yeah. Let's see. Fuck. I had actually navigated away from the folder that contains all of the images for tonight, but we're back there. Oh shit, that was completely the wrong fucking thing. Fuck me. Head talk. There we go. Nope, wrong one. Today I learned. What? There we go. All right, technical technical problems with G. All right, let's see if we can actually get the next one up here. There we go. Next on Today I learned that Elizabeth Smith Friedman, America's first female cryptanalyst, fuck me, anyways, worked as a code breaker who successfully broke up a Nazi spy ring across South America during the 1940s. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover took credit for her work until reports were declassified in 2008. Fuck J. Edgar Hoover for this. You know, so many things in the past have been coming to light that, you know, women did. Like there was the Hidden Figures movie that you know, showed us all how important African American women were at the start of NASA and how they were treated. And you know, I found it such a powerful scene when Kevin Costner's character just knocks down the colored only sign and was like, let's get back to work. I kind of felt like I would have been like, fuck yeah, knock that shit down. But in any case, just fucking assholes taking credit for other people's work. Just fuck off. Anyways, all right, next one. And then finally, on Today I Learned that a study recently revealed crucial differences in the way black and white officers in the Chicago Police Department respond to incidents on their beat. Relative to white officers, black and Hispanic officers make far fewer stops and arrests, and they use force less often, especially against black civilians. Can anybody say systemic racism? I feel like this is another piece of evidence piling on to all of the evidence that we have that systemic racism is still an issue and it needs to be addressed. And so this is just a good thing to know when you're out there arguing on the Twitters or on the Facebooks or whatever. All right. And then, of course, next we have comments, which I need to do a little animation for this. I probably will one day. Comments of the day. Prepare to facepalm yourself in the next week. See, the critical point in playing the uke is playing it out of tune, out of sync, and just generally strumming the strings and not really going in any kind of organized way. That's whilst singing out of tune, yes. All right, so first up in the comments section this week, we have Mr. Epistivist, who says, I'll put a word in support of Brocephus. The first couple of times I really didn't like it, but he grows on you, and I've come to appreciate it. Fuck yeah, Brocephus with the beer money and shit. We love that. That was on a live stream, last week's live stream, that apparently starting to win people over on with the Brocephus pop-ups. So, yeah. D Rabbits in the comments says, GE, never sing again, please.
Fuck off.
Fuck off, D Rabbits. I'm gonna sing if I fucking want to. That was a country song played on a uke called I'll Sing If I Fucking Want To. No offense there, D Rabbits. Thank you for watching tonight. Anyways, all right, let's get on with these comments. Here's a social media post. 9 million people died from cancer in 2019. No lockdowns, no rush for a cure. I'm sorry. I don't exactly understand what like reality they're living in, but we obviously have been working on a cure for cancer since we've thought it could be a thing that could happen. You know, the curing cancer and shit. And yeah, cancer isn't exactly spread by coughing on somebody. I don't think that's how it's spread at all, actually. So cancer is a very real threat. There's no lockdowns because the doesn't transmit like COVID does. I don't know why you got to compare the two diseases like that. Daniel M sent a super chat saying, "Here is 5 for you to sing Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Tiny Tim." I've never heard that song, so I will just make some shit up right now. Tiptoe through the tulips. My name is Tiny Tim. Tippy-toe through the tulips. Ow, fuck! I stepped on a bee!
It didn't even rhyme.
Is that's what you're complaining about? The fact that it didn't rhyme?
Yeah?
Okay. Alright. I feel like that was better than the original song, maybe? I don't know. Okay, so this is an awesome comment. I've got to read it from the bottom to the top, okay? So first off, this motherfucker says, learn how to spell words first, then make a comment. So learn how to spell words. I don't know what word he thinks I misspelled. I didn't misspell a word. I don't think so. I usually try to double check my spelling on shit. But then he comments. I do. Damn. Then he comments, one advice that comes from God, which is a deadly sin, is gluttony. Is a facts course today is called eating disorder, which make you fat. Probably learn how to make coherent sentences first before you comment. This to catch this out in the wild is just fucking crazy to me. All right, next comment. This comes from Tessa Little. She says, I came to watch Alex Collier's work and landed up skipping everything this simple intellect was trying not to understand. Go and get you a beer.
Bitch, that's my job.
And talk about smaller things in life. This info is above your pay grade, mister. Never throw pearls before swine. I don't know why you would want to throw pearls before swine. Anyways, for some reason, my video debunking Alex Collier saying that aliens live in the moon and are stealing children is getting a lot of traction with people looking for Alex Collier's work. I don't know why they're searching for him, but apparently my shit's coming up, and I don't know why they would watch it. I don't know why they would watch it in order to hear him. I mean, unless maybe the video got taken down that I was referencing? I'm not sure. Anyways, this person's just fucking crazy. Let's see, next one. All right, finally, in the comments, we got, all my friends who support Biden must have unfriended me. I don't see any posts of them bragging about what a great job he's doing. So here's the thing. People that support Biden don't need to constantly stroke his dick. All right? As opposed to the former president, who constantly needed his dick stroked every day, along with his ego. And so you had to constantly congratulate him on the fabulous job he did getting up out of the bed that day. Because apparently that was pretty tough for him. All right. Let's see, that's it for that. Oh shit, y'all know what time it is? Oh fuck. Oh god damn it, yep, I would have technical problems with G. Alright, here's some shitty ass science. Shitty ass science! We're gonna answer some science shit really wrong. What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? I'm Bro Cephas. If you're new here on the channel, Bro Cephas is the science teacher, and as you can tell, we have moved our facilities to a TED Talk stage. You can't see the TED Talk thingy, but hold on, maybe I can select this thing. See, look, TED. That's where we're at. TED Talk. We got a TED Talk today about a question somebody asked on that Quora site. Alright, if you guys don't know, that's a place where you can go and you can ask dumbass questions all the time. And I'm going to give you some science behind this. Alright, so this person right here, dumbass123, says, just a little bit of money. Well, first off, Michelle says, I keep hearing tentacle problems. This is not an anime, so tentacles are not an issue here. It's technical problems. That dumbass doesn't know how to run shit. Anyways, can you subconsciously make a deal with the devil and lose your soul and only realize it's wrong when you get your soul back 25 years after being diagnosed with schizophrenia and then decide that getting your black belt wasn't worth it? Okay, listen. First off, black belts are always worth it. You never know when somebody's going to jump out of the shadows and you got to kick them in the face. So, I mean, I don't have a black belt, but if you're ever curious about getting a black belt, the obvious answer is always get a black belt. Now, I don't need to get a black belt because I've got the guns here and I just punch them really hard and it causes them to shit themselves and run away scared. That's what happens when I punch people, okay? Now, can you subconsciously make a deal with the devil? Obviously, you can subconsciously make a deal with the devil. How else is the devil gonna make deals? You think people actually make deals in the right state of mind or with even knowing it? No, you're just walking down the road one day and then all of a sudden, oh, good shit starts happening. And it's like, oh, fuck, did I make a deal with the devil? Oh my God. Whew, have I just lost my soul? It happens every single day walking down the road. You can tell somebody just all of a sudden look, oh no, I sold my soul right there. Just without any provocation from me. Fuck it, I lost my soul. All right. Next, realize it's wrong when you get your soul back after being diagnosed with schizophrenia. Well, so the schizophrenia thing, you might want to go and get that checked out. You might want to take some meds for that. But definitely, the devil doesn't return it after 25 years. He just returns it when the contract is up. And the only one that knows when the contract is up is the devil. You just so happen to have a contract that only lasted 25 years. And then you got schizophrenia, I'm sure. Now, you probably had schizophrenia the entire time. The lawyers are in my ear telling me that if you are the person that made this, then please seek mental help, like a psychiatrist, psychologist, or a counselor or something like, I don't know. I just know that schizophrenia is a serious thing. And then, like I said, black belts are always worth it. That way you can kick the devil's ass next time he wants to come and make some kind of like weird fucking creepy deal. And you're just like, you got this mental thing implanted in your subconscious. It's kind of like that Inception movie. I don't know. Honey, I mean, Casey?
Yes.
Have you ever seen Inception?
Yes.
All right. This is where the black belt training comes in, because in that movie Inception, they have those little security guards in his subconscious that come in and try to fuck people up that are trying to fuck with him. The same thing happens when you learn black belt karate. You have subconscious ninjas that will fight the devil off. Or in my case, it's just a big burly motherfucker in there that's just like, boom, get out of here. I only suck Jesus dick. And so that's how I stay protected from the devil. Okay? That's just saying. I got a big burly guy in my subconscious that fucks the devil up anytime he wants to try to make a deal. We do not need to talk about what's in the bottom drawer in my room, okay? The baby Jesus butt plug does not need to come into this.
Okay.
That's also pretty effective in keeping the devil out. Anyways, I guess that is done for me. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about how to keep the devil out of your ass and your subconscious. And I guess I will see you heathens later. Is this the button? That's the button. Fuck me. Hold on. That's the button. Woo! Y'all get it. Bocephus and I are totally different people.
Sure.
Yep. For instance, I don't have a bottom drawer, so it's definitely not me. Anyways, this is a crazy fucking question. I really don't need to cover it. Seek mental help. All right. Are you guys ready to review mathematical proof for God? Or well,
if it's math, I'm outie.
If it's math, you're. Oh yeah, that's right. You like to stab your eyes out with a fork if you see math. Pencil. She uses pencils. All right. So the video that we have tonight is from. Do I? Trust me, we're gonna look at what he's got. A whiteboard's not gonna help. Anyways, so tonight we're looking at a video from Brian Holdsworth. Now, Brian's a Catholic and he produces a lot of videos that are very clickbaity over on his channel. I don't have the video in the description just yet, but I know that I can get a hold of a Holt. What the fuck? And thank you, honey. Yes, it was country as fuck. Did I hear Brocephus call you honey earlier? What the fuck was that about? Anyways, I don't know if you guys want to refresh at all, but I just put the link in the description for this video. It's literally titled Mathematical Proof of God's Existence. And so he's going to be telling us, you know, or he's going to be showing us his mathematical proof. And he doesn't mean like 1 + 1 = 2 and that means God. He means like it's an actual like mathematically worked out proof, like you would prove any other concept in mathematics. So I just wanted to get that kind of worked out there. Let's see, I didn't actually check to make sure that, okay, everything should be good, hopefully. Yeah, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and start, and maybe it won't blow out my ears, our ears.
A few weeks ago, I made a video that I titled something like Undeniable Proof of God's Existence. And the point of that video was to illustrate how inconsistent and illogical it is to demand undeniable proof of God's existence before you will explore the possibility of his existence.
Well, so right off the bat here, I just want to say that while there may be some people that demand absolute proof or undeniable proof of God's existence, I really don't think that you have to provide that in order to establish that God more than likely exists. And honestly, I would hope that that's what most people want that don't already believe in a God. Not hard, undeniable proof that he exists, but at least evidence that leans us in the direction that God exists. And so I kind of feel like it's a bit of a straw man that he was tackling with his first video, which I watched it. There really wasn't anything to say about it because, I mean, he doesn't really cover any kind of undeniable proof. He just says it's bullshit to want undeniable proof of God's existence. You just got to believe in faith in a book. A book. People wrote a book and therefore believe it, motherfucker. That's my own interpretation of what he said. So, I mean, I paraphrased a little bit there. Anyways, we don't really want undeniable proof, just we want evidence that leans us in the direction that a God most likely exists.
Fortunately, a large portion of people commenting on that,
just a little bit of money.
Uhan Roderick says, Beard Union International disavows this message.
video expressed feelings of having been cheated by the fact that they thought I was promising to deliver undeniable proof rather than talk about this unreasonable standard, which, in my opinion, kind of proves the point of the video. And while so many became fixated on the title of that video, the actual thesis of that video was left unanswered by these critics, including some who made video responses of their own.
Yeah, see, that's, I don't think that I didn't do a video response of that one. I did do a video response to his, it's like the best evidence for God's existence or something like that, is what I did a response to. But the undeniable proof of God's existence, it didn't have any substance to it, so. But yeah, I mean, that's what you get when you clickbait your videos like you do. It's not like the viewer's fault. I feel like it's kind of upon you to accurately represent the video. Although I do have to say that if you watch the video and all you have to do is complain about it, I just don't see the value in just bitching and complaining about a video. I mean, if you wanted to bring up something, you know, some kind of counterpoint or something like that, I feel like that's beneficial, but just bitching about it, I don't know. Maybe that's just my own personal opinion. I hardly ever comment on other people's videos on here, like actually in the comment section. So, anyways, let's continue.
Up to that video to try to illustrate the point of that video a little bit better, while also offering a proof that so many complained was absent in the other video.
Typically, most arguments for God's existence are purely philosophical in nature. There's no real hard evidence that suggests that God exists. That's why all of the arguments are philosophical. They have to try to logically get to the conclusion that God must exist, kind of thing. And so I feel like it's very hard to provide mathematical proof for it, considering that, it's a largely philosophical kind of discussion, the existence of God. And so I don't know. I feel like using the math route is not the correct way to argue it.
So before I present the proof in question here, I want to provide a little more context about it, as well as an explanation for how I'm going to present it and why. The first thing I want to point out about it is that it seems to be relatively unknown outside of academic circles. I only learned about it relatively recently, which is surprising considering that I've been reading about and learning about arguments and proofs for God's existence for as long as I've been a Christian, which is over 15 years now. And whenever I've mentioned this or I brought it up in conversation with other well-informed theists and Christians, I've yet to meet somebody who is actually familiar with it. And that seems revealing to me. There aren't many commentaries about it, and there are even less people who can understand it well enough to discuss it in meaningful ways.
So let me get this straight. You're providing an argument for God's existence that's a mathematical proof, and you're prefacing your entire video with saying, listen, most people are too dumb to really understand this argument, but I'm going to provide it for you as an actual undeniable argument for God's existence. Yes, so I know you guys probably didn't hear, but KC says that it's no different from when a non-believer says that you gotta, or sorry, here, you want to repeat it? It didn't pick it up.
I said it's really no different than from when Christians say that, you have to you have to be a true believer to understand God's word or what it's like to be a Christian. So it's something that, that's worse actually, because it's not understandable. I mean, some people do understand math.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a silly argument to say if you don't really understand it, or you don't really, a lot of people probably won't understand it, but that doesn't mean it's not true.
Right. Well, I feel like in order to use it, you have to actually explain how it does prove that God exists. And I feel like he's just going to present like whatever, and he's going to be able to get away with it because he's like, look, I told you you're too dumb to understand it. There's a lot of people out there that are too dumb to understand it. Actually, 99.9% of people are too dumb to understand this argument. So just trust me that it proves God exists.
That's that good old arrogance we've talked about.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much, honey, for providing your commentary. We hope in less than 4 months you'll be able to sit there and participate with me. But so given that we got a super chat that's coming in. Thank you so much, Hellbound Hillbilly. Says $5 says he doesn't understand it either. Maybe. So one of the reasons why I felt like I was at least a little bit prepared to take on this argument is because for my bachelor's degree, I have a minor in mathematics, and I really should have I could have and I should have done a double major in mathematics, but I feel like I do have the skills to be able to decipher what this mathematical proof is. Although I did watch this beforehand, I still don't understand how it proves God. It just seemed like a whole bunch of gobbledygook. But we're gonna go through his proof, which doesn't appear till like the very end of the video. So I'm gonna mostly let him talk. I'm gonna try to mostly let him talk.
Woo! Bear money!
Thank you, Jamie.
Just a little bit of money.
Jamie just sent a super sticker that's a pair that is dropping the mic. And then Uhan says, "Are you a real engineer?" I think so. Last time I checked, I was.
Discuss it in meaningful ways. The fact that it is less conspicuous in more popular proofs and arguments like the Kalam cosmological argument or St. Thomas Aquinas' 5 ways isn't because of some deficiency in the argument, but rather because I think there are so few people who are up to the task of wrestling with it. The point.
Well, I mean, those other arguments really aren't all that spectacular. They're pretty bad, actually. So I really don't think that this one's going to be any better.
With it. The point being that there are only a select few who can make heads or tails of it. And what this means is that this may very well represent the limits of what human thought can produce on the question of God's existence. There are critiques of this proof, but...
Okay, hold on. Sorry, before he talks about the critiques of this proof, I feel like if the Christian God is real, and he has the ability and has in fact, intervened in our world, in our universe, I feel like that should be testable and quantifiable. Like in the Old Testament, God did shit all the time. He intervened in our world. Even now, you have Christians just like Brian here who say that God intervenes all the time. So I feel like that with the idea that God regularly intervenes in our reality, it should be a quantifiable and testable thing for us to determine whether or not this God actually exists. So I get that our own human experience is a bit limited, and we'll never know if we have all of the knowledge that we could ever possibly get. But I do definitely feel like if God has those properties of intervening in our reality, we should be able to detect him. I feel like that is a very logical thing to expect.
To lack the kind of confidence that you usually find in explicit refutations. They seem to be more questioning its implications and its axioms than anything else. And yes, it does rely on axioms, which seems to be the source of the only complaints that I've read about it. But if your only complaint is that the axioms can't be proven, well then I think you run the risk of throwing out the baby with the bathwater just to avoid God's existence.
Well, I mean, if I just have an axiom that says that the magical squirrel spilled his nuts and created this universe, like, I could create axioms around that idea, and if I can't actually prove that those axioms are true in some kind of sense, then what good are they? If you have an axiom that can't be substantiated in any kind of way, then you can't really use that axiom to build a case off of it. I mean, you have to be able to prove that your axiom is true in the first place. You don't just get to make up random shit everywhere and say, "Oh, well,
bear money."
You don't just get to make up random shit and say, "Oh, that's an axiom, so therefore God exists." That's a really dumbed down, I guess, kind of way to look at it, but I'm just saying that you can't just make up shit and then proclaim that God exists. You're just doing it in a mathematical way. Gary White says, did he get his point across because he doesn't have any points? Thank you so much there, Gary, for the donation.
Fundamental laws of logic are axioms that can't be proven, not the least of which is the assumption that the universe and all of reality is intelligible such that human reason can be applied to it in meaningful ways.
I don't think that that's necessarily proof of God, though. I mean, I've heard this, that reason itself, it existing, proves God. But, I mean, all reason does is show that you have a complex enough nervous system in order to be able to reason. Like, without God existing, reason would still exist. Reason is just remaining consistent and logical in you know, your argument or your thought process. And so I don't see how that necessarily entails that God exists. Also, another thing that he said is that because our universe is intelligible and we can reason our way around it, that means God exists. I mean, I really contest the whole idea of shit's intelligible, therefore God. I mean, it's only intelligible to a mind that can make sense of it.
Example, and in many of the responses to my previous video, quite a few people said that anything that exists must be empirically demonstrable. And since nobody's been able to do that in the case of God, or so it's claimed, then there is no proof of God's existence. But the claim that the only kind of...
Well, before he goes on, it's not that there's no proof of God's existence, because, well, I take it here what he means by proof is just evidence that God exists. And that would be good evidence that God exists. Generally, people leave out the specifier of it being good evidence that he exists. It's just that this evidence that you claim supports your conclusion doesn't actually support your conclusion. That's what we're trying to get through to you with that particular statement.
But the claim that the only kind of valid knowledge is empirical knowledge is not itself empirically proven, which either makes it an axiom adopted on faith, which atheists like Bertrand Russell admitted, or it's self-refuting. The other thing I should mention...
Well, so for... I really don't think that it's not that it's not empirically proven that you know, things with empirical evidence are all that we can say definitely exists. I mean, I kind of feel like if you don't have empirical evidence for something, then you really can't come to the conclusion that it does exist or it does happen. So I would agree that everything that does exist and does happen has to have some kind of empirical evidence behind it. And the axiom, because he was talking about like logic axioms and things of that nature, which he claims doesn't really have any kind of substance behind them. But I mean, we can provide mathematical proofs and various well, proofs in general behind the logic that we have, like the rules of the axioms of the logic that we have. I mean, I remember taking a class. It was a computer science class in college where that's exactly what we did. We took the logic as far as like mathematics goes, like representing the logic that you use in philosophy and stuff, representing that as math. You can prove the logic behind that, right? We have mathematical proofs for that. We have mathematical proofs for just about everything in math. So I don't understand why he's saying that these are axioms that we don't have proofs for, when we do have empirical and mathematical proofs that they are axioms, or that these axioms are inherently true.
Curious, but I think I have good reason for doing this, which reinforces the point and the thesis of this video, is that I'm not going to tell you who came up with this proof, except to say that for anyone who is familiar with them, they are universally acknowledged as one of the greatest minds to ever exist, full stop. The takeaway from that should be that before anyone convinces themselves that they have a valid refutation of this argument, they will also have to convince themselves that they have somehow detected an error that one of the greatest logicians ever somehow missed.
Okay, I feel like this is just an argument from authority. One of the quote-unquote greatest minds ever came up with this, therefore it's true. I mean, you can't sit there and be like, I'm not going to tell you who it is. He's a bad motherfucker, though. And that's why it's true. And that's why any refutation that you have is going to be invalid, because you're going to have to sit there and tell me that one of the greatest minds of our existence says that it's true. This is just an argument from authority that's meant to confuse people into thinking, oh well, shit, I guess we can't refute this motherfucker. I mean, he can do math in his sleep, and well, fuck me, I guess it's true. I mean, I feel like that's the end goal of any kind of argument from authority. It's to get you to stop thinking. It's to get you to stop questioning it and just accept what you're being told. And I've always advocated to ask questions and really try to understand these things for yourself. I never try to portray myself as some kind of authority that can't be questioned. And I think that if anybody is going to give you some kind of proof for God or anything else, and they're like, trust me, I'm an authority, or trust me, I'm an expert in this, I feel like you should definitely question what they're fucking telling you. Because anybody that is really sincere in what they're telling you will want to field questions if you have questions.
Which is to say, what's more likely, that they're wrong or that you're wrong? The reason I'm not going to reveal the originator of this proof is because I want you and you alone to either concede it or refute it without running away to some other source to do the heavy lifting of refuting it for you. Because you're the one asking for reasonable, rational proof in this case. If you have to go to somebody else to do the heavy lifting to refute it for you, then this isn't an exercise in reason for you, it's an exercise in faith in someone else's reason.
Well, no, I mean, you're basically shitting on people wanting to hear both sides of the argument. You're wanting to hear the positive argument for it, and then you don't want them to hear anything else. You started off this entire video by telling people that they were too dumb to even understand this particular piece of evidence, or this proof. And now you're telling them, hey, don't go to other people so that they can explain to you why it's all fuckered. You got to try to figure it out for yourself. You're basically tying both hands behind their back and telling them, just believe what I'm telling you. I feel like that kind of thought-stopping rhetoric should always be questioned.
If you have to rely on someone else to do that for you, then you shouldn't be asking for a proof that is beyond your intellectual ability to understand. Because anyone who insists that God be
Woo! Bear money! Dave Lee says, I want him to take a guitar off the wall and sing for his intro for Silly Ass Logic!
proven to them has to expect that whatever proof is offered is one that they can understand. That's the only way that something can be proven to someone. If the recipient of a proof can't understand that proof, then it hasn't been proven to them. For example, if I recite Boyle's Law to my 4-year-old son, can it really be said that I had proven it to him, considering that he won't understand it? The answer is no. Whatever consideration he has for its validity isn't based on his intellectual scrutiny of it, but whether or not he believes me when I tell him that it's true. For him, this isn't a matter of reason, but of faith as to whether or not he adopts it, because his reason can't grasp it.
So you're literally telling us here that let me see if I can summarize so far as this video goes on. Listen, you're too dumb to understand this mathematical proof. So this entire video is an exercise in your faith in me and your faith in this person that I'm not going to name who's just one of the most brilliant minds ever, and it's an exercise in your faith in us to just believe that we're telling you the truth and that this really does prove God. You're literally telling people that you just have to accept that it proves God and accept that it's true. This is fucking frustrating.
Grasp it. And allow me to dwell on this for a second, because I think it's really important and largely neglected. I want you to ask yourself if there are true concepts, known or unknown, that are beyond your intellectual ability to understand. Anyone who's honest will have to admit that yes, there are concepts that fit that description. Well, God, by definition, is far greater than any of those concepts. So when you demand proof be given to you, you're assuming that you can grasp one of the most intellectually remote concepts imaginable. God.
I feel at this point that this entire video is just a really long way to say, look, God exists, and that's all you gotta know. You just gotta have faith that he exists. We can't really know if God does or does not exist, but trust me, we've got books and smart motherfuckers that definitely say that God exists. So just believe us. Suck that Jesus dick. Does it seem reasonable, honey?
Imaginable. God, by definition, is beyond any human capacity to fully understand. So when you demand proof in such a way that you can fully understand it, it's self-contradictory. And you should probably stop doing that because it makes you look silly.
No, asking for proof that something ridiculous like God exists is something that you should be doing and does not make you look silly. I'm so frustrated over this video because he's sitting there telling people that you just got to believe him and to not ask questions. Don't ask for proof because this is one of the most unprovable things that you could ever ask for proof for. So you just got to believe that God exists because it's a test of faith. I feel like I laid out previously at the very start of this that if God has a real effect on our universe, we should be able to detect and quantify that. So to tell somebody, no, don't ask questions or don't expect any real evidence for this God, you just got to believe us because we got a really old book. We've also got this old motherfucker over here that's really good at math, and we all think that he exists, so you should just trust us and believe that he exists. This video is so fucking dumb. You know who's the silly motherfucker here? This guy right here.
That any proof for God's existence is really only a human formula that attempts to render it for us in an accessible and a logical way. But any human formula will rely on the cleverness of whoever formulates it, and there will always be somebody who is cleverer out there, so these concepts will always be in dispute. In other words, human logic will always be contentious. That doesn't prove or disprove God's existence, and this particular proof is no different. So
I highly contest this because I mean, that is true for the God question. There's always going to be somebody out there to refute the dumb fucking arguments that religious people come up with because they're dumb fucking arguments. That's why, okay? But if you expand this into the greater scientific community, like, there's nobody that seriously questions whether or not gravity is a thing. Like, we have questions about what causes gravity and what gravity really is and all that, which a lot of that's been cleared up. But, I mean, we're still figuring some shit out just in physics and quantum mechanics and all this other shit. But the fact is that fundamentally, nobody questions whether or not gravity exists. Of course, there's flat earthers that question it and everything like that. I'm talking about, like, serious, scientists, experts in their fields. And I realize this might sound a bit similar to what he's saying, but the big difference is that these people spend their lives studying these things, and they love to answer questions. They will figure shit out. They never want to stop asking questions. That is the big difference here between them and this person. Also, you can prove gravity yourself. You can show that gravity exists. People can show you with empirical evidence that gravity exists. And like I said, this extends all throughout the scientific community. We can show you empirical evidence that evolution happens. We can show you empirical evidence for all of this shit, right? And that's the big difference, again, is that they don't want you to stop asking questions, and they can literally show you why they are correct. It seems like, to me, the only person that would want you to stop asking questions and not seek answers elsewhere that rebut what you're saying is somebody that only wants you to listen and believe. That's exactly what Brian is wanting you to do here.
That's enough for me. I'm going to go ahead and put the proof up on the screen here right away. I'm not going to leave it up there for very long because I don't want to drag out the time of this video, so feel free to pause it and to stare at it. But as you do so, I want you to ask yourself, does it make any difference to you? Chances are you're among the 99.9% of people who have no idea what it means, even though it's been confirmed confidently that it is valid logic, even though the rest of us wouldn't know one way or the other. But that
okay, so I'm sorry, honey, what? Confirmed. So logic can be valid. Like, you can make a valid argument for God existing, let's say, from beauty. The form of the logical argument can be valid. The question is whether or not it's sound. Is it sound? Is it a sound argument? Like, does the argument actually substantiate or support the conclusion that it comes to? That is the big thing.
That's what demanding proof gets you. If you're going to ask the most difficult questions imaginable, unless you're insanely arrogant, you should be prepared for responses that exceed your ability to understand.
Okay, I get that. I definitely have come into situations where I've asked questions that supersede my current knowledge, and I just simply don't understand it. That's why I ask questions. That's also why I ask other people. That's why I go outside of it, so that I can see from different perspectives on why that person is right or wrong. I tried to blend the two words, right, wrong, whatever. But that's why you go and you find other people that are on the opposite, people that say that this guy's bullshit. Well, does their argument make sense? Like, is what they're saying essentially true about what the argument does? Like, looking outside of it is good. You're essentially asking people to just believe this, to listen and believe, without doing any kind of fact checking, without doing any kind of, just using your own innate knowledge that apparently 99% of the population, at least as you seem to indicate earlier, will not understand. So you have to understand how this is just simply not convincing. If you understand it, then please explain it to us. Explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. I don't care. Just sit there and actually explain it to me so that I can understand what your argument is. Don't just preface it with saying, you're too dumb to understand this, but I'll tell you anyways. You just gotta believe me that it's right. Like, what's the point in this fucking video other than to tell people to just listen and believe in shit?
Understand, which means that you either have to walk away empty-handed or make sense of the explanations which are offered at your level, and admit that whatever conclusion you adopt, it's adopted at least partly on faith.
No, I mean, so before we get into this hot mess, you don't have to accept things on faith. You can accept things on the empirical data that are given to you, right? I mean, you should be able to. the empirical data that shows you that the statements are true, the axioms are true, the presuppositions are true, like you should have like information that says these things. All right, so let's see. Axiom 1. Whatever the fuck that is. Okay, so here's a problem. Is that with mathematical proofs, I feel like you're going to need some explanation. Because, like, people haven't had discrete mathematics classes. Like, they wouldn't know what the... What is that? The fork thingy. I know that's a function. This little upside down A is like an enumeration symbol. That's the probability of sigma, maybe. That's a logical operation. I mean, I don't understand what axiom 1 is supposed to be pointing to. Cernian says there's zero explanation. I know. Axiom 2. More gobbledygook. Theorem 1. Okay. See, like this G of X. I have no idea what this G of X is. Big G of X. I have no idea. I mean, you're literally giving me nothing to work on here. I mean, like G, like the G of X is generally used as a placeholder for just a function, right? Okay, I'm not sure what... Like, axiom 5 is just P of E. What? G is God? G could be God. I don't know what the function of... I don't know why God is a function of X, though. Let's see. DF. Is that definition? DF2? More gobbledygook. Axiom 4. Gobbledygook. I mean, I'll admit that these are legitimate, like, mathematical things that he's putting up here. He's not just drawing symbols and shit. But, I mean, he needs to provide some context surrounding what in the fuck these mean. Okay, let's see what his next slide is. Well, Jesus fucking Christ. Hold on. Let me I don't know how well this comes through on the thing. Let's blow this up a little bit, and then I'll shrink my ass. If it was that easy in real life. Let's see. Okay. So let's go through this. Definition 1. X is godlike if and only if X has as essential properties those and only those properties which are positive. Okay. So whatever X is, if it's godlike, it only has positive properties. They're essential and positive. Definition 2. A is an essence of X. All right. If and only if for every property B, X has B necessarily, if and only if A entails B. Okay. So for every property B, A has to entail that it would have that property B, I guess. Okay. X necessarily exists if and only if every essence of X is necessarily exemplified. I don't know where that gets us. Okay, axiom 1. If a property is positive, then its negation is not positive. I mean, barring I feel like that's kind of context sensitive. I don't really think that you can have like that kind of axiom and say that a property is. I feel like he's getting into like absolute values, like absolute positivity and absolute negativity, maybe, because like a property being positive is context sensitive. So I don't feel like axiom 1 can really be supported. Wacko in Seattle says that's the text description for the previous slide, or at least he thinks so. Okay. Oh, this is the text description of the mathematical equations he put up? All right. Axiom 2, any property entailed by, i.e. strictly implied by, a positive property is positive. Okay, so if a property is implied by a positive property, it is therefore positive. Well, this suffers from the same problem as axiom 1. We got Quentin that says, I feel bad for you having to try and make sense of this, so here's some beer money. Hey, honey, they gave me beer money, so can I have a beer? Thank you, please. Please and thank you. All right. Like I said, again, axiom 2 suffers from the same thing as axiom 1, that being positivity and negativity are context sensitive. Axiom 3, the property of being godlike is positive. I don't think so. Have you ever fucking met like other gods? Or not met, but like have you ever thought of other gods? Like what does it even mean to be godlike? So he's saying that godlike is absolutely positive no matter what. But that's actually kind of a unique thing in religions as far as it being, absolutely positive. So I guess he's saying that God, a godlike figure, can only ever be positive. I think you would have to substantiate that. It just feels like you're pulling that out of your ass and saying, "Oh yeah, God's definitely an absolutely and only positive figure." That's just pulling it out of your ass. All right. If a property is positive, then it is necessarily positive. Well, again, context sensitive. I don't think that you can assert that something is absolutely positive. Axiom 5, necessary existence is positive. Okay. I'm not. I mean, I guess so. I mean, I don't know how you would even substantiate this, but all right. Axiom 6, for any property P, if P is positive, then being necessarily P is positive. Okay. All of these axioms and everything. Well, yeah. So we haven't gotten to the theorem one. All of these things are very dependent on context. So I don't really think that you can definitely say that it's a positive trait is necessarily positive. Theorem 1. If a property is positive, then it is consistent, i.e., possibly exemplified. Okay. Corollary 1. The property of being godlike is consistent. All right, so I feel like corollary 1 is saying that to be godlike is possibly exemplified. I mean, I feel like this is saying that God is possible. I can agree that God is possible. I don't think that the Christian God's possible, but maybe some kind of generic deity figure might be, I guess. Theorem 2, if something is godlike, then the property of being godlike is an essence of that thing. Theorem 3, necessarily, the property of being godlike is exemplified. What? Is it? So, I don't know. I feel like this comes roundabout in a very circular, logic-y way, because at the very beginning with his definitions, he assumes like things about being godlike, and then at the very end, he says, "Oh, well, godlike, the property of being godlike is an essence of that thing, meaning that it's intrinsic to that thing." And therefore, it is exemplified. I feel like it's just a circular argument. It's a Quentin says it's a new Gish Gallop. Yeah, I don't see how this is supposed to prove anything to anybody. Let's see. Let's maybe can we go back? Axiom definition 3. So like apparently. I don't know why he's got them all out of order over here. So let's take definition 1. God, I guess, has property positive, but I feel like he's just making shit up in these in order to make this. So, like I said, this is an enumeration of whatever in the fuck Greek letter that is. So it's saying all of the properties are positive. So I don't, hold on. X is godlike if and only if it has if X has as essential properties those and only those properties which are positive. Okay. I don't know, man. This definitely seems fishy. I can understand why you wouldn't want people being able to understand this, because it just seems like it just seems like a really complicated way to just say God exists. Like God has been proven to exist because God is good. I feel like that's what this argument is. Like God is positive or God is good, therefore he exists. Because apparently godlike is absolutely positive, and because of that, God exists. Maybe, I don't know. I'd really be interested to hear what you guys think about it. He's got a little bit more here, so let's reframe this. Nope. Wrong thing.
Hey, thanks for watching that. If you enjoyed it, then be sure to like and subscribe for more.
Okay. It's just like and subscribe and buy into my shit. Oh, also buy my crazy soaps. Apparently, like I think he's partnered with somebody that sells crazy soaps. Hold on.
So if that's you, then come check it out. As an added bonus for certain tiers, I will also send you a gift box from Glory and Shine, which is a Catholic, family-owned and operated company. They make bath and body products. They're actually their beard balm I'm supporting, or I'm sporting right now. I'm not just a spokesperson, I'm actually a customer.
Okay, yeah. So just all this shit he sells. Hey, I have a deal down below for a new wallet. If you want a wallet, it's from Extra. You get a little bit of money off the Extra wallets. They're pretty, I don't have my wallet on me. They're pretty awesome. They're nice. They have good leather and shit. All right, let's see. Let's get back to main camera here. All right, well, that's going to be it. For the video tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I didn't. I still love the fact that he prefaces the entire video with "You're too stupid to understand it," And then he puts up all these mathematical equations, and then he puts up the explanation of what those mathematical equations imply logically. And I feel like that's just to throw off and scare people. Like all these logical digressions, like the way that he put it, I feel like scares a lot of people. But it just really seems like, oh, God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. Shell F sent a super chat a little bit ago that says, "What? A Christian making stuff up? No, never happens." But I feel like him prefacing it with saying that you're too dumb to understand this and still giving it to you, but also saying that you just got to trust us and it's to test your faith. I feel like that's kind of shady there. I mean, the fact that he doesn't want people to actually go and hear from experts on how dumb as fuck his whole premise is, I feel like he's just wanting you to listen and believe. And that's what the entire video is about. And so I wasn't impressed with his mathematical proof for God.
Oh shit, this is a bigger one.
Did you count my money to make sure you don't lose any of my bills?
Michael W. Roble sent in saying, "Damn, GE, you are one smart engineer. My mafia comment might make your head swell." Well, I'll have to see. But I appreciate you leaving a comment. Maybe the Skeptic Mafia will have better insight into this whole mathematical thing, because it's not that I didn't understand like what the mathematical formulas were saying. It's just that there was no context given, and then he gives the explanation, but still the mathematical formulas are just pulling shit out of his ass, it seemed. And I feel like in order to say that God or being godlike is an absolutely positive thing is something that can't be substantiated. And it's like I can make a similar mathematical argument just talking about the squirrel, right? The magical squirrel that spills his nuts and creates the universe. I feel like his entire mathematical argument there is sitting on shaky foundation that doesn't actually prove that a God. It might prove that like certain aspects of his Christian God are logically sound, but that goes nowhere to prove that God definitely exists. None of that actually proves that God actually exists. I mean, I get it, you're trying to establish the internal consistency of your God, but I feel like the entire argument just baselessly asserts what God is and then proves that he exists based on other shit that you pulled out of your ass just to make it work. That's what it seemed like to me. But who am I? I'm not a mathematician. I'm just an engineer, software engineer at that. So, take that for what you will. If you will, though, please go down below. Let me know what you thought about his proof. We spent some time here kind of discussing it, looking through it. Maybe there was just something that I wasn't seeing. I'm not sure, but let me know down below in the comments what you thought about it. Did it actually prove that God exists, or do you think like me, and do you think that it was really just a pile of shit? Let me know down below. Hey, while you're down there, why don't you smash that like button and subscribe if you like this content here. And I guess if you're leaving out right now, we'll see you guys next week on Friday, and we'll see you guys then. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. But don't go, because we are getting into the Skeptic Mafia comments. They might have some better insight into it. I'm sure some of them are way better at math than I am. So we'll get into that. Let me get this up and then go over here. Boom. Hey, hun, would you mind checking to see if there's any? Okay, thank you. I don't think so. I just like my own comment or my own post for some reason. All right. No, I accidentally did it. Okay. I really liked it when they put, like, the shit was held back, like, actually on the post. That way I could approve it from here, but I guess that was too easy. All right. Vanta Blue's up first. I told Cadence I'd do a short comment, but this guy pisses me off. As I told Cadence, goalposts run in fear of this guy. Proof of a difficult topic doesn't need to be given in a difficult way. Keep it simple, stupid. Proof of a god doesn't need to prove everything about them either, just that they exist. It doesn't need to prove their thought process, appearance, morals, you name it. Then there's the logical, not mathematical proof and its translation. Those two lists have little in common. The number of axioms and theorems don't line up. A and B are not used in the proof at all. Only P, G, and E. X is mentioned in the translation, but Y isn't. My main takeaway from comparing the proof with the translation is that's not what that says. I found very little correlation between the two also. Like, I don't know. I didn't really. I noticed that there were a lot fewer like explanations than there were proofs, but I couldn't make heads or tails of what in the fuck he was talking about. I mean, I think KC was right with the G of X being God and X being a property of God, but that just means that he's pulling shit out of his ass and assigning things places. Like, I don't see how you can get to God from just pulling shit out of your ass. I mean, that's how Christians have done it for the longest time. Let's see. Edit, something I remembered at the end of the stream. Correct logic, but not sound. There you go. Horses have hooves, giraffes have hooves, therefore giraffes are horses. That good point. That would be how it's logical, but not sound. All right. Thank you, Vanta, for your comment there. Dave Lee says this video is 9 minutes and 9 seconds in length. The first 7 minutes and 37 seconds are pre-backpedaling to the tune of "You can't know God's mind, so you won't understand the 10 seconds that Brian will flash the equations on the board." Oh, and by the way, support Brian's personal website, and he'll send you some Catholic beer balm. I do not want to know what the Catholic beard balm is made out of. Thank you, Dave. Sean J says, so this idiot's opening is proclaiming how stupid he is by not titling the previous video properly, as if it's really hard to be refuted or discussing in the title. The only thing we have good evidence of is the natural world around us. There is no good evidence for a supernatural world, realm, etc. If an axiom is untrue, you cannot then use that axiom to support your argument. He tries to argue that this is not so because he's an idiot. Tossing Gödel's ontological proof on the screen as some kind of fiat accompli without addressing the numerous refutations of the proof that he acknowledged exists is disingenuous at best. What a worthless video, merely stating that Gödel was smart and a great logician without mentioning Gödel's name. Oh, Gödel, not Goebel. What the fuck am I reading? Is not evidence that his proof is correct. I guarantee that Gödel's proof is beyond this idiot's ability to understand, hence why he doesn't try to defend it properly. I feel like he didn't even represent it properly. Also, I don't know who in the fuck I didn't know who in the fuck he was even referencing, so it's good to know. Now I can go and look up and see what the actual problems are with it, because I'm sure that the way he represented it does not actually communicate what I would need to be able to understand it. But Uhan Roderick says that was just awful. Hey guys, you don't understand this, therefore leaves. Weak. Smash, like, and join. If you guys don't know, we have Skeptic Mafia here. You can go to joinskepticmafia.com or smash that join link, and you too can get emojis in the side chat. Most of the time we put out a Skeptic Mafia podcast. We've been a little lazy this week, but we're trying to get to it. Casey worked hard this week. I was lazy this week, and we normally get it out to you. We did post one this week, but it was for the last week. Quentin Van Booben says, how does he not see that a child believing something that a parent tells them is not the reason that most people are Christian? Anyway, he seems to, in a roundabout way, say that, God is outside of reality, therefore we can't prove him, but trust me, man, he's there. To an extent, look at the trees is more convincing than he just spouted. That's my time. I'm going to do a short shilling tonight to make sure to hit all of the buttons. You know the ones, the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And if you can, consider joining the Skeptic Mafia. Skeptic Mafia, the lawyer said we need to clarify that we are not encouraging people to take part in organized crime. The lawyers say we need to clarify that we are not encouraging people to take part in organized crime. Remember, heathens, if you don't hit those buttons, you may as well index at 1, and we all know how bad that is. I'm going to make a shirt that said God indexes at 1. I'm going to do that. Because he's a bastard. Grifter's Deuce is next. He says, wait.
Oh, shit, this is a bigger one.
Wait, this is another terrible ad for Dr. Squatch soap? I guess they're trying to get more sales in the Christian nationalist demographic. Maybe that means we'll get less shitty ads on the rest of YouTube? One can hope. Thanks, Grifter. All right, Daniel M. He says, it seems to me that the existence of God is presupposed in order for this to work. No, I don't fully understand what this math is all about, but that does not mean that God has to exist. What I look for as far as evidence is something that can be explained naturally. Hell, even someone actually bringing God would work. As far as I have experienced, things that have happened within our reality can be explained naturally. I conclude that if there is something that happens beyond my comprehension, that too can be explained naturally. Also, in my experience, I haven't needed extremely convoluted shit to explain our natural world. I would have liked to see this guy explain what his evidence is. Maybe he will do another video for GE to go over, and those of us who join the Skeptic Mafia will get to review it and leave our comments. We can also make GE say, hey, hun, we are getting a cat that indexes at 1.
Not getting a cat, no matter where
it The cat will index at 1 because cats are assholes. Plus, Whelping, that is all. Thank you so much, Daniel. Michael W. Roble says, raise your hand if you think Brian has a savior complex with beard balm nonetheless. Sorry, me cup holder. Goidel's ontological argument has been pretty much written off since he never presented any arguments for the validity of his axioms. Hey, that's kind of what I said. Like, just looking at the axioms, I don't think that he could substantiate that his axioms are actually axioms. So if you start from that kind of position, there's no way you can make a sound argument for God's existence. Let's see. And not to mention, he forgot to specify which God's existence he was proving. True, but I mean, I feel like most apologists are arguing for a specific instance of God, and I think that's why I said that he assumes that like a positive property is godlike. I don't think that he can't substantiate that God is all positive or absolutely positive. He just assumes that it is. I'm glad that I was going on the right direction and I wasn't just pulling shit out of my ass too. I do that, but it just literally didn't make any kind of sense to me when I was reading it. Gödel started working on Anselm's argument in 1941, never told anyone until 1970 because he thought he was dying and claimed to a friend that he didn't believe in God. His wife said he would lay in bed every Sunday reading the Bible. So goes the irrationality of religious belief. As a side note, there is an umlaut, 2 dots, over the O in his name, and is pronounced Girdle. Oh, you know how I am. Thank you so much for telling me how to pronounce it. So it's Girdle. He immature. I know. Come on. We've all been locked up for a year. Wash up, mask up, buck up. Thank you. I don't know. No. There's still a lot left. I'm just sipping on it. Shell F says, "Oh, dog, this guy." That's all I've got. I couldn't finish watching. Hi. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope all is well. Let me level with you all for a moment. I really think that you should hit that like button. In fact, I would like for you to do it. And subscribe. Subscribing is a good way, is good for your non-existent soul. If you are so inclined, you should also join the Skeptic Mafia community. Community is good for you. Anywho, that's been your life coaching for the day. Cue angelic music. I should have read the, I wish I would have known that beforehand. I could have queued up some like angelic shit. Zach Clark. Zach says, "I don't even have to watch the video to know this argument is going to be crap. Why? Because we made up math. We made math up. Fail well." The Runed Warrior. 1. Presuppose conclusion. 2. Ask question. 3. Answer your own question. Profit. Yeah, that I felt like it was very much that kind of very generic outline for it. He presupposed what God would be like and then just proclaims that he is exemplified or he's proven in some kind of way. Just kind of seems weird. And then the profit part, I feel like that's fucking beard balm. Command Cyborg says, "So, the good old we define God as needing to exist, therefore God must and does exist in this world as something more than a concept with all the omnis and all, including the awesome power to not contradict itself, just written in near illegible predicate logic form. God existing as a concept, i.e. figment of our imagination, isn't really disputed. But for some reason, it never works for me. Every time I try defining $1 million on my living room table." Smash all the buttons, join the Skeptic Mafia, and enjoy your favorite series of sci-fi space adventure, whatever those who are wrong say about it say. Transmission terminated. Thank you, Command Cyborg. Jonathan Nickel. "I was thinking I should shorten my responses a little, so goodbye." But maybe a little bit more. This isn't going to start well when he starts out by claiming to be the smartest guy in the room, talk about condescending. I am betting that he is not, and there is a village somewhere demanding the return of their idiot. He speaks of laws of logic, but he does not refer to identity, non-contradiction, or excluded middle, but he says instead that reason can't be reasoned. Reason can't be reasoned, logic is not logical, and evidence is not evident. If we rely on evidence, as he claims, then what is he presenting? Why is he wasting our time? He claims to have a source, but doesn't name it. How does he expect us to fact-check him then? Oh, right, he doesn't. Exactly. He doesn't want you to ask questions. He doesn't want you to look at other people analyzing his work to see if it actually makes sense. He claims God is beyond our ability to understand. So how the hell can he claim to have knowledge of God then? Is he setting himself up for some hyper-intellectual with superhuman knowledge? Finally, his so-called proof is nothing but a mathematical variant of the ontological argument. Utter nonsense. Is this God of his some form of anthropomorphic personification? Does he think that if you can conceive a God, it has to be real? How about a God with all the traits he claims, but humans can't understand? But humans can understand. Wouldn't such a God be an improvement? And by the rules of his own argument, would that God supersede his? If, on the other hand, we mere mortals can't understand God, then we can't conceive of him, and that is another nail in his coffin. Rational people demand proof. No wonder he tried to dismiss the need for evidence at the start of his video. So do I win by bet? My bet? Where would you place your shilling, GE? So my shilling is in the Skeptic Mafia. Join today. It's gonna be the best investment, I'm telling you. Trickster! Why do they always use the majority of their videos to explain absolutely nothing to do with the point they will finally try to make? That's a problem with this particular YouTuber. He titles his videos in a way that makes you want to click on them, and then doesn't ever deliver on what his videos are, on what his titles and his thumbnails get you to click for. And so, or at least not in the way that the titles and videos seem to imply. So I feel like that's kind of the shady clickbaiting that some people do. How does gibberish on a chalkboard prove anything, especially when he spent absolutely no time to explain what said gibberish even means? Like, subscribe, and share this with your friends, and if you want to be part of something that does have a point, hit that join button and become a part of the Skeptic Mafia, where GE will give you a bunch of cool stuff, such as a podcast every Tuesday and a chance to vote on and watch an early showing of the video on the Friday livecast, and drop a comment about the video. And if you like, you can make GE say things like, GE, do believe everything Kent Hovind and Ken Ham are the smartest people on the earth, and GE believe everything they say. I'll say it, but I'll say it through my fucking teeth. Fucking hate those two. Stand up, use your voice, wear a mask, at least for the time being, and wash those grubby mitts we call hands. Definitely keep watching them. Oh, and he put a whale peen and 2 Ken Hams. I ain't gotta explain shit. Drew's book reviews. Well, I don't know about mathematical proof of God's existence. Now, I am not watching the vid, but hopefully I can jump in towards the end of tonight's stream. But from the books I have been reading lately, there is some mathematical implication to alternate universe, at least according to Brian Greene in his book, The Hidden Reality, Parallel Universes, and the Deep Laws of the Cosmos. I wonder if this God guy is in an alternate universe, because I am quite sure he, she, it, they is not in our universe. But even with the crazy math of physics, it still has not produced any theories or math that would even mildly imply God or gods exist. There is essentially no testable, provable proof of alternate universe, let alone God, but we have mathematics that at the very least imply the possibility, which is more proof than we have for any kind of God or gods. Of course, we could all just be holograms or sentient entities inside an alien computer, and the math is the code that governs the program we live in. Always got to hit them with that hard solipsism. Anyway, heathens, hope you had a great night. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, keep on reading. Hey, I don't know if you guys know, but Drew's Book Reviews is doing live streams now. He did one this past week. I don't know if Drew's planning on doing more, but I'm gonna try to make it to the next one. I got caught up with work shit, and I didn't get a chance to make it to this week's, but hopefully he'll do it again. Gary White says, I agree with Jonathan on this. Can't wait to see this dumpster fire. From what I'm seeing, he looks like that he is talking gibberish. Kind of. I mean, yeah, he's just basically telling you, listen and believe. And that's it. And here's the proof, but also just listen and believe that it really proves God. The Clyde 950. Oh goodness, it's Caveman Jesus with some God math proof. Thanks, Clyde. Jonathan Hanachek says, okay, I want to see what kind of dumpster fire we're going to have tonight. Oh, man. Thank you, everyone, for coming and being here. Let's see. We got Jane, who sent a super chat a little bit ago that says, this video got me stumped. Really don't understand how math proves God exists, but here's $5 for a beer after listening to that guy. You need it. Oh, thank you so much. Eric Hamion just sent a donation. Thank you so much there, Eric. Appreciate you. Immortal Sirens. Yeah, you look good in glasses and your thumbnails. Happy Valentine's Day to you and Mrs. GE. Share the love. Gods or not, lulz, be kind to your species. Thank you there, Immortal Sirens. Appreciate that. All right. So I do have time for just a couple of questions, but then I've got to go. If you have anything that you want to say in the side chat, please do. I would really love to hear what you guys think about it. As far as the video goes tonight, I was very unimpressed. I'm glad to know that I was at least able to get that he was baselessly asserting things and then just coming back around and saying that God is proven. Let's see. I think the live chat's still getting caught up. I'm going to refresh real quick. Okay, here we go. Daniel M., Godless Engineer, you will have to look up that song by Tiny Tim. I definitely will. Oh, Drew's Book Reviews is doing another live stream at 500 subs, so y'all need to get over there and subscribe to Drew's Book Reviews. Make him do another live stream.
Just a little bit of money.
Immortal Sirens again said beer money to GE, lols. Thank you, Immortal Sirens. Well, I hope everybody's going to have a really great weekend this weekend. I believe I'm supposed to be on the line on Sunday. So if you guys want to go, if you guys want to catch me live again this weekend, it would be Sunday on the line. So I hope you guys will join me over there. I'll be sure to post that up on the community tab. So just keep a looking out for that. I can't wait to talk to more people. I really want to do another live call-in show here soon, because I've been looking through my past videos, my past live streams where I did that. I really miss having, like the one-on-one conversation with, you guys. So I think I'm going to do that sometime soon. Probably not this weekend, but some other time. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm actually going to go play some Magic the Gathering while I guess we watch a show or something, maybe the news. I don't know. But I'm going to go do some nerd shit, and I guess I will see you heathens later. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens.